Because part of my mission is to bring in the greater academic community into the residential college, I've had to think, how is the best way to do that? And one of the things that I've learned along the way is how much structure helps. I don't even consider myself a very structured person, but I find that when I bring in faculty, they need to understand what is my role, and they need to be guided through kind of that experience.
Some good techniques for faculty when entering kind of student designated spaces, such as residence halls, after kind of evening activities on campus, student clubs and orgs, things like that. I would say, first of all, know your purpose. If you are invited to an event and you aren't quite sure why, you can ask the organizer what your role is there. And before you arrive, or when you're kind of getting the lay of the land and getting settled, think of some questions to break the ice. So as faculty director, regularly inviting faculty into my neighborhood events, I try to provide discussion questions so that the faculty know how to start the conversation with students. Other piece of advice, invite a friend. If there's one faculty member there, they're often, the neighborhood or the space often wants more faculty members there. So it can be useful to kind of start with an ally, bring a colleague who is also willing to enter the space. And with time, you can kind of get the lay of the land and then spread out and talk with other students. There's always good questions. Students are eager to talk about their lives, what they've been up to. They're interested in talking about their futures, the majors they're interested in, the study abroad trips they may have gone on, etc. So there's usually a pretty easy way to break the ice.
So 2 examples. Every Sunday night, our community has a dinner that's served family style. And every Tuesday, we have something called Tuesday Tea, where my home is open to students, and we usually have a guest speaker. So one of the things that I've started to do is to invite the same faculty member to be our guest at Sunday night dinner and at Tuesday tea. At Sunday night dinner, I make it clear you have no role other than to eat with us and to shake hands and get to know a few students. There's no speaking, and so they understand that their role is simply to enjoy dinner with us. And then they come back to the community 2 days later for Tuesday tea. And we operate it like a TED Talk. I literally put a 15-minute timer on the table, and I tell them in advance, you have 15 minutes to talk about anything that you want to talk about. It can be personal, it can be academic. And when those 15 minutes are over, we're going to reset the timer for 15 minutes of questions and discussion. And I have been shocked at how much students and our guests have loved that structure, because they know that this is going to last 30 minutes. They know that 15 minutes is going to be the faculty member speaking, 15 minutes is going to be questions and discussion. And so it sort of created this freedom through structure where everyone feels comfortable. I think we get into trouble when we have a good idea of what an event or a program looks like, and then we assume that our guests will understand, and they come in perhaps with more anxiety than they are willing to admit. So I think it's just really important that we serve as guides and create structures where they understand what their role is and how we're asking them to contribute.
One of my recommendations for faculty who are entering into residential spaces and really entering into the territory that their students occupy is, I think, one of the things, first of all, is to maybe recognize that there's a reversal of the dynamic there, that what you're experiencing is often what students experience in relation to you. So I think in some ways that experience of entering their space can help you to better understand them and to appreciate how what might not seem like an important aspect of your relation in terms of the power differential, that you begin to see how that affects students. And I think that that's one of the benefits of that. I also think that one of the things that happens there is to recognize the value of stepping outside of that context where you are seen as having the upper hand, and to enter that space that can be a very powerful mechanism for you to have those more personal conversations.